be on the floor or seated up. Then we'll roll through about 50-55 minutes of movement. And then we'll end with a nice long Savasana, final relaxation pose. And that'll just be a reclining meditation that I lead you through. I'll play some Tibetan singing bowls for you, or it's singular. I just brought one on this trip, because how many singing bowls can you travel with? Don't answer that. Infinite. The answer is infinite. But yeah, so everything that I lead you through is an invitation. Please listen to your body over my voice. What we want to practice in this class, in this practice, is learning to turn up the volume of communication between your body and your mind. So we're connecting those, whereas usually all day we're like kind of often telling our bodies to shut up. Like, now's an inconvenient time to have a headache, push it to the side. Now's an inconvenient time for my hip to be popping in that way, let's push it down. Like, now we're like, oh, headache? Like, let that rise up. Like, that thought rise up and be like, oh, let me like actually feel this headache and see if it's coming from tension in my neck or my posture or dehydration, and address the root issue. Oh, popping in my hip, let me actually roll through that to try and get some more synovial fluid, like lubricant into that area through movement or positioning. If that makes sense. In other words, what I'm saying is, it's not a dance class. It doesn't have to look any single type of way, and you can take it at your own pace. You can make it more challenging or less challenging on yourself throughout. That's just fine. Encouraged even. Every time we do chaturanga and you throw in 10 push-ups, it's a win, you know? And every time we go into, I don't know, lizard pose, and you know that that's not good for your knee and you skip it, that's an equal win, okay? So I want to encourage, like, we do what's best for our bodies, and that's a win. Whether it's taking it up a notch or down 2 notches, okay? So, on that note, on that threatening note, let's get started. So finding a comfortable seat, whether that's in a chair or on the ground, take a moment to silence your devices. At least for this grounding part, yeah. Give yourself a chance. Heart comes over hips, head comes over heart, no leaning forward, no slouching back. Centered. Hands come to rest on the knees, either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable, or lower to a soft gaze just beyond your legs, not looking at anything in particular, just allowing the eyes to rest. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up to the ears, and an audible sigh out through the mouth, shoulders drop away, down the sides. Allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available, at your natural pace. We'll just take a moment here to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And just become present to yourself here in this moment. here in this space. Begin to allow sounds into your awareness. Perhaps the sound of passing cars or traffic outside the window. The sound of a pet or a roommate shuffling. The ticking of a clock. Allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight where your hands rest on your knees. And begin to scan your body from head down towards toes. Scanning for any places of tension or sensitivity. Any restlessness or fidgeting. Just using this information, using these call outs from your body to inform your practice. Actively moving into those areas that call out specifically. We'll shift this awareness, this focus from Annamaya Kosha, the body, to Pranamaya Kosha, the energetic level. Just noticing where you're at on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl into bed. 10 being so full of energy, it's hard to sit still. Where are you at in this moment? And shifting the attention up to the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. Bringing the awareness up to Manamaya Kosha, the mind. Allow thoughts and feelings to arise freely. But without your interaction, no need to engage with the thoughts. Observe them from a distance. Like an image being projected onto a screen, the story goes on without your input. Just notice, what are the quality of the thoughts today? Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not right or wrong, not good or bad. Just something to notice. We'll bring the attention back down to the breath. This time we'll actively expand the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Inhales fill belly with air. Belly expands on the inhale like a balloon inflating. And exhales draw belly button in towards spine, deflating. Complete exhalation. In February, last month, we worked on our Dirga Pranayama, our 3-part breath, filling belly, ribs, and chest. We're going to continue with deep belly breathing, but work on a new breath technique, breath pranayama practice, and it's just called equal parts breath. So inhaling, we're going to internally have a count, so you just count to yourself 1, 2, etc. up to until you're at your full capacity. And then you attempt to exhale the same number. So say on your inhale, you get up to the number 7. Then your exhale, so that you're completely out of air, is equal to 7. Or whatever number you're at. And the numbers are just a point of making it even. A higher number is not a higher score. We all count at different paces. So just put that out there. Just relax your jaw, bottom teeth fall away from the top teeth, a little space between them. Just let your forehead relax, space between the eyebrows broadens, and we're still seated up nice and tall, focusing on counting and breathing. Seeing how much you can slow down that breath. Breathing slow and deep. And when the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath, back to the count. And on your next exhale, no rush to get there. Just releasing any effort from this breath, from this, and just returning to your natural pace, perhaps influenced by that last exercise. We'll invite hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers, and the thumbs press into the sternum. And here, take a moment to reflect. What is your intention or dedication for your practice? Why did you show up to your mat today? And see if that reason can turn more into what would sound like an affirmation. So if you state it in an I statement and positive present tense, it can work really well as an internal drishti, an internal focal point to return to. So you might say, I am healing, or I am resting, I am peaceful, I am patient, I'm strong, like that. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. So you're welcome to chant with me first a cleansing breath. Hands release down to the lap, chin drops towards chest. And an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhale, releases chin to chest. And left ear towards left shoulder. We're just going to gently roll the head side to side. Just beginning to bring movement into the body. Opening up that space between neck and shoulder, trapezius, muscles. And extend the head, rolls through center. Bring it up to neutral, and we'll just begin to roll the shoulders forward. Just opening up the space. Hello, Z Kamen. I am not going to do your 5 standard push-up challenge right now. We can get to it later though if you hang out long enough. Just gently warming up the body, slowly getting into movement. Roll the shoulders back. Your eyes can even be closed for this part, if you like, because it's not really a wrong way of doing it. Just checking in for any places of tightness, or clicking or cracking. Thank you, Bodhi, for taking up that 5 push-up challenge so that I didn't have to do it. Push-ups are great for you though, so I highly recommend. Right now, just taking it easy. And here we go. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, bending over to the right. Left arm reaches over. And we'll draw a big circle in front of the body. With that left hand, right arm follows. Nice big sweeping circle. And once again, there's the shoulders. There's not really a wrong way of doing this. It's just a flowing movement that you're connecting with your breath. So to inhale as I rise up, so there's space in the rib cage for more air, space in the belly. And the exhale, I like to bend and sweep forward. Just like starting with some free movement, where as in like it's not like a pose, it's not like a right way of doing it. Just so I can really check in with my body, see like what's clicking, what's maybe sore. And then we'll change directions, sweeping over to the left. Now the right arm leads, left arm follows. And next time you sweep up through center, just bend the elbows and bring the hands to ear height. So warming up the hands and the wrists, just waving out the hands here. And play piano. Right, so my elbows aren't moving. I'm just going to the full range of motion, left and right, fingers wiggling. It's like my routine for like undoing all of the hand grippy things that I do, like drawing, writing, clenching a steering wheel. Yeah? And palms face the sky. My fingers are pressing back as far as they can, fingers spread wide. And we rotate. Monterochi on YouTube. What's your favorite Selena Gomez song? That sounds like a famous person. But I don't know who I don't know. I don't have one. I think she has a song with Blackpink. So I guess that one. Yeah. So here we're pressing back as hard as we can with the fingertips. So your forearms might even begin to start to feel fatigued, and that's how you know you're putting in the right amount of effort. So we're like doing our best to prevent carpal tunnel here. We're just warming up the wrists as well, so it's just like you're shaking off water before we put any weight on the wrists. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So bring the legs out in front, bring chat back with me. Letting your toes spread and scrunch. Oh, vanilla tea, everything. So toes spread and scrunch. Waking up the lower legs here. We'll roll out the ankles. Change directions. This is like a real gentle waking up of the body here. Really, literally just go from head down to toes. Popper has just spread his toes when he said it. Like caked with mud. Give her a bath today. Puppy on the couch. Yeah, so you guys keep coming at the ankles. Here's a little. That's for you, fans, Phantom. That's Luna. She came on that 6-mile hike with me yesterday, so she's a little tired. Keep it there so you can still see her paws. Oh, yeah, be adorable. Okay, so knees bend and feet come nice and wide. We're just dropping the knees side to side. So I'm just beginning to wake up the hips. My legs are far enough apart that my knees can come down to the ground. They don't end up stacking on top of the other foot. And then we'll drop both knees to the right. Hands come to frame that leg as we come into tabletop pose. Bring that with me. Don't need that plugged in. Do need this. Hands come below shoulders, knees come below hips. Oh, we're so close. So close to the center. So close here. below shoulders, knees come below hips. On an inhale, belly drops, hips and chest rise for our cow pose. And exhale, we round in the spine, chin tucks towards chest. Cat pose. Inhaling, belly drops, hands are pressing down and back, knees are pressing down and forward. I'm trying to scrunch my mat together, just like that, to get a little more grip for that arch. And exhale, rounding in the spine, hands press down and forward, knees press down and back for resistance from the ground to get even deeper in that bend. Following your own breath's pace here, beginning to match the speed of the body to the length of the breath. And the next time you exhale through cat pose, releasing all the air out of the body. Complete exhalation, still keep pressing up through the shoulder blades, through between the shoulder blades, and just begin to squeeze, tense up the muscles of your body. So squeezing the glutes, scrunching the toes, scrunching the face. Nobody can see you here, holding all the air out, body in tension, tight, tight, tight. Let it go to neutral, take a deep breath in, sigh it out. All right, right foot steps up between the hands, left foot steps up between the hands, heel toe the feet, out to the edges of the mat. And you can bend one knee and then the other, just waking up the legs. Then both knees are a little or a lot bent, whatever feels good for your hamstrings. And we let the head nod yes, upper body's relaxed, over. Shake the head no. And grab opposite elbows with the hands creating a frame for the head. So again, you can give a bob forward and back, or I like to do almost like a figure 8, like an infinity sign. As I bend one knee and the other, and I just let my top half body sway with that motion. It's called ragdoll. It's just like a gentler, wavier introduction to this first major forward fold of class. We'll bring it back to center. Hands release down, heel toe the feet together, knees can be very bent. Big toes come to touch, a little space between the ankles and the heels. And we'll roll up one vertebra at a time, starting with the one closest to your hips. Heavy head comes up last. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center, Garudasana mountain pose. Better. Inhaling, arms sweep up overhead, head tilts back, follow the hands, giving the neck a little bit of a stretch, a little throat stretch. Exhale, hands down through heart center, little bend in the knees to protect the lower back as we forward fold. As we forward fold, the head comes down and the hips go up. The knees are straightening out to the best of your ability, they don't have to be perfect. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on shins. Crown of the head is towards the front of the room, tailbone towards the back. So I'm trying to, it feels like you're getting taller. It's like a pulling of the spine in two different directions to elongate. And hands come down to the ground and let's send the right foot back. So you take a nice big step. The trick is to bend in the left knee. That's going to give you the stability and the space to step back nice and far. And here, with the toe ball mound touching down, I'm just going to rock forward and back, giving the calf a little bit of a stretch. So I'm pressing the heel down as if it's going to touch the ground, and I'm just rocking forward. Nice and gentle, and you find kind of like the pace and the intensity that feels good for you here. And then keep it pressed back by pressing into this front heel. So I'm pressing forward with my front leg to give even more weight into this back leg. For another deep breath in here, just stretching out this calf muscle. And we'll gently release this knee down to the mat, untuck the toes, and we'll find the spacing for the hips. So I'm letting my hips drop down. I'm pressing the top of my back foot into the ground hard enough that the knee can lift. So I'm like obviously exaggerating here just so you see what I'm talking about. The shoelace part of my foot is pressing into the ground. Left knee over left ankle. And we're coming up right to Asana, our low lunge pose. This, you'll know that you're in the right positioning, like the right spacing between left and right foot, left foot and right knee, because you can bring your shoulders over your hips without pain. If you find yourself here and you can't go any further, then just bring that front foot in a bit more so you're more in a marriage proposal, and that's going to help get your shoulders up over your hips. Alternately, you want to be pressed forward as far as you can so that you feel a stretch on that front right thigh, but not at the expense of alignment. All right, arms come up overhead, deep breath in. And on an exhale, it's a high twist to the left. So the left arm sweeps down and back behind you, opening the arms like the letter T towards the long side of the mat. We'll connect that to breath. Inhale, up through center. Exhale, same side, twist, left. Inhale, center, so nice and slow. Momentum's not your friend here. Like moving through honey. Exhale, twist. Then hands can come to heart center. Anjali Mudra. And this right elbow might hook with the left knee. So I'm putting my elbow on the outside of the knee, and I'm going to press into the knee to try to open my chest more towards this long side of the mat wall. It's almost like I'm trying to get my hands to heart center. But really what's happening is my chest is going towards hand center because my forearm is not going to get any shorter. So we use this as leverage. Now we're breathing here even with the contortion of the twist. Shoulders melt away from the ears. Another deep breath here. And like pressing rewind. Come up through that letter T type twist. Back up through center. And then release the hands down to the ground. Tuck the right toes under. Lift the knee, drop the heel. So now my toes are facing the back side up, the other long side of the mat. If I were to draw a line back from the front heel to the back foot, it would intersect with the center of the arch. Right arm sweeps forward, up and over for a warrior two. So I'm going to turn around so that you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah? Left knee is over ankle. Right foot is pressing into the pinky side edge. Glutes are squeezed so that the hips can be open towards this long side of the mat. Arms are straight like the letter T or parallel to the ground. And then you look over the left fingertips. This thigh is probably starting to fatigue and get to the edge of its strength. But you're not at the end of its strength. You're just like at the edge of discomfort. Trust that. Looking at this horizon just past the fingertips where the water would meet the sky of the ocean, bring to mind that drishti, your focal point, your why. Why are you doing this right now? What aspect are you cultivating within your character? patience, strength, healing, persistence. Like, what is it that you're building? Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Straighten that front leg. Hands come onto the hips. You just drop this left hip. So hips back to center. It's like I'm a little teapot. Yeah. Dropping this bottom hip. It goes down. The right hip pops up. But I'm still like between two panes of glass. Yeah? T-spout reaches towards that far wall. As far as it can go. While this hip is pressing back that way. Then just the arm releases down and the right arm goes up towards the sky. So now my arms once again are like the letter T. And this bottom hand's pressed into the calf of the front left leg. So even though I know that flexibility-wise I can touch the ground, I'm staying up here using some of this oblique strength to stay upright for this Trikonasana triangle pose. Variation of it. I'm squeezing the muscles of this leg to avoid hyperextension behind the knee. I'm letting my shoulders be relaxed even though they're engaged. So that can be tricky. So we're letting the shoulders be relaxed away from the ears, but the shoulder blades are still squeezed in together to keep a nice alignment. The gaze can look down towards the bottom foot or up towards the top hand to give the neck a bit of a stretch. Full breath here. And bend in the front knee back to warrior two. Inhale, the left arm sweeps up and over, the knee is bent. And exhale, the hands cartwheel down to the ground to frame the front foot. So here we are. Step the left foot back to meet the right, plank pose. Straight line from the heels to the crown of the head. Yeah. Deep breath in. And exhale, coming onto the tiptoe, shoulders go past the wrists. Maybe you release the knees down. Now we're chaturanga, coming down with elbows scraping the rib cage. They don't go past 90 degrees, tops of the feet flip, and press into the ground so hard the knees stay off the ground, the hips stay off the ground. Shoulder blades squeeze tight together as the chest presses forward for upward facing dog. Alternately, hips and knees can be on the ground, but then we just keep the elbows bent and the hands is like a pull back for Bhujangasana Cobra Pose. Full breath here, either version. And the toes tuck under, hips press up high for downward facing dog. Fingers are spread wide. You can pedal out the feet. And just finding your distance. The closer your feet are to your hands, well, not that close. The closer your feet are to your hands, the deeper the stretch in the legs. The farther your feet are from your hands, the deeper the stretch in the shoulders. So I like finding some space in the middle, unless I'm particularly working on something, stretching out the legs or the shoulders. Like a nice even pose, my feet are parallel to one another. Some space between them. I'm looking between my toes or between my knees. Hips are pressed up and back to where the back wall meets the ceiling. Full breath here. Whew. I'm looking up between the hands, bend the knees deep, hips towards the heels. It's like a spring being loaded. Then you get to choose how you'd like to arrive at your hands. Take a step, a bunch of tiptoe steps, or maybe a nice little froggy leap. Big toes come to touch. At the top of the mat, inhaling to a halfway lift. Hands on shins. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale brings you all the way up to stand. So again, rolling up, arms sweep up when you get there.
And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. This time the head tilts back, maybe the chest tilts back for a little baby back bend. Exhale, forward fold. And have a little bend to the knees to avoid any tension in the lower back. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Left foot takes a giant step back. So bending in the right knee, taking a big step back with the left foot. Here we have a little rock back and forth to give the calf a stretch. And if you're like, I don't feel a stretch on my calf, this, that, or the other, well, just keep the knee straight. It's like the back of the knee wants to touch the ceiling. Keeping that knee straight and a little drop in the hip is going to give a better stretch to the calf. Right, so we're pressing the heel towards the ground, even though it's not going to touch, it's not even the goal, is to touch, that's just the direction of the energy to have the desired effect on the muscle that we're targeting. In this case, the gastrocnemius, your calf muscle. And then we're going to hold it back there. Knees pressing towards the ceiling, heels pressing towards the floor. Front foot is pressing back to give that calf a stretch. Another deep breath here. And we'll gently release the left knee to the ground, untuck the toes, and let's find that spacing. Right knee over right ankle. Press the back foot into the ground so hard that you could even lift your knee. If you can't lift your knee, you can give a couple of those little lifts. Make sure your foot's not sickling in. We want it pointed straight back behind us. Find that stretch on this front left thigh, hip flexor, or where you might feel it. Once you've found it, you want to keep that bit of engagement, that foot pressing into the ground. That's going to give you the stability to come upright for our Anjaneyasana. Find your shoulders over your hips. If it's not possible, then that's how you know you need to bring in the front foot a bit. And also for stability, the left hip's going to tend to fall back. Like my body, for example, in my experience, my body, in my experience of this pose, my body wants to go into a split, so my left leg falls back and my right hip goes forward. So my hips start to open towards the long side of the mat. But what I actually want to be happening is like a scissoring in towards center. So I want this right hip to pull back. I want this left hip to press forward so I can get a nicer stretch on my front left thigh. So my hips are actually squared to the short end of the mat. And even though it may look like I'm less deep in the pose, internally I'm getting much more benefit. And there's more stability. Yeah? So arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, it's a high twist to the right. Right arm sweeps forward, down and back. Left arm sweeps forward. Inhale, back to center. Same side, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. And exhale, hands release down to frame the front foot. Left toes tuck under, lift the knee, drop the heel, toes facing the long side of the mat. Front heel, if you were to draw a line, intersects the back arch. Then left arm sweeps forward, up and over, cartwheeling up to your warrior two. Right knee stays tracking over, right ankle, pressing into the pinky side edge of this foot. And the hips are open to the long side of the mat. And squeeze the glutes to help open up this right hip. It's going to help hold you in place. Arms come up like the letter T. We're not reaching into the future, reaching into the past. Right and center, shoulders over hips. Stacking joints. So cute. We're looking over the right fingertips here. Once again, connect with your drishti, your focal point, where your eyes are connected to. And take this opportunity to reconnect with your intention, your internal drishti, what your mind gets to reconnect to. Exhale, melts your shoulders away from your ears. And extend this right leg long. Hands can come onto the hips. We'll drop the right hip down, bring it back to neutral. So just seeing what that drop down of this hip, pop up of left hip feels like. A little movement in the hips. You decide if your legs are too far apart or too close together here. You can always rearrange. I'm always rearranging my alignment. With this hip pop down, your teapot spout reaches towards the front wall. As far as I can as this hip's pressing towards the left. Then this hand releases down. This right hand releases down. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. So I'm using the leverage, the pressure between the bottom hand and calf to leverage this top shoulder open. So from the side, it's like in between two panes of glass, totally flat. And if you looked up or down with the head in your Trikonasana pose on the other side, you might want to do the same on this side to give the neck an even stretch. Front leg is engaged. So I'm squeezing the muscles of the leg so much so that I feel the knee is lifted and held in place. So I'm avoiding hyperextending. So if you're like really flexible, or you know that you are double jointed or anything like that, we're not trying to push past that point in this particular position. I'm not against going to your edge, especially if you're double jointed. I think flexibility and contortion is awesome. I just don't think this is an awesome pose to get into that hyperextension safely. Yeah? Last deep breath here. Bend in the front knee, back through warrior two. Commit to the bend in the right knee. Reverse warrior. Right arm sweeps up, giving a side stretch. Exhale, cartwheel the arms down to the ground, framing the front foot. Right foot steps back to meet left in our plank pose. We've got a deep breath in here. And exhale, coming up onto tiptoes. Shoulders just past the wrists. Option to drop the knees here. We'll lower down chaturanga, elbows scraping the ribs. Tops of the feet flip. Press the chest through for your upward facing dog or your cobra with your hips and knees on the ground. And elbows bent. Another deep breath here. Then downward facing dog. Hips press up towards the sky. Fingers are spread wide. Head hangs heavy. And eyes stay open. Between the knees, between the feet. We've just got one deep breath here. Looking up between the hands, bend in the knees like a spring being loaded, step hop or tiptoe up to the top of the mat. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale brings you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale to heart center. Tadasana mountain pose. Turn to face one another. Beautiful. Okay, so here we are. Practice our Garudasana, our Eagle Pose. So you started to play with this yesterday. I'm still feeling it, especially after seeing those hawks yesterday. I was telling you guys about on the hike with this wolf. I'm about it. So inhale, get closer so you can see. You're still standing. I'm just going to show you the arm situation. Inhaling, arms sweep up overhead, nice and tall. Exhale, right arm
sweeps under left arm, like Wizard of Oz Scarecrow, like he went that way. You're going as far as you can, and then elbows touch, backs of the hands touch. Right hand comes into the forehead, and then onto the outside palm. So I'm trying to get my palms together. Regardless of how far that goes is just fine. So the option is to have palms together, backs of the hands just pressing in together. That's cool too. If you know you have had some shoulder surgeries, or you don't need an excuse, this just doesn't feel good on your body, just grab shoulders. That should give you a nice little stretch without compromising anything that might be going on for you. All right? We're going to bend in the knees nice and deep, like sitting in an invisible chair. The right knee opens out to the side. Light on the toes. Big cross. It's like you're crossing your, this dramatic crossing of your leg, trying to get your thigh really, really high up on the other. The foot's pressing back towards the wall behind you. So, pressing back towards the wall behind me. Maybe this foot hooks behind the left calf. Even if it doesn't, the foot's pressing back. Alternately, the foot might be just tiptoes on the floor. You feel like it's gonna be easier if you start to straighten out this left leg, but the deeper you sit, the tighter the squeeze between your legs, and actually the easier it's going to be. Yesterday we worked on pulling the elbows down towards the belly button. Today we're going to lift the fingers towards the sky, lift the elbows towards the sky to give the shoulders an opposite stretch. So we just got another deep breath here. We're going to release in reverse. Gently unhook the foot, release the arms. Deep breath here. All right, other side. So, inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Once again, you're still standing. I just want to be able to show you the arm situation. Exhaling, left arm sweeps under right arm. Reaching as far as we can. Elbows touch. Backs of the hands come together. Now the left hand comes in towards your face and then slips in front. So there's a double twist here in the arms. Alternately, backs of the hands are pressed together. That's awesome too. We're grabbing the shoulders. And then when I say fingertips towards the sky, you can be doing this. Yeah? Cool. Bend nice and deep in the knees, like you're sitting into a chair. The left knee opens out to the side. We're light on the toes. So I give it a little bounce to like all my balance poses so it doesn't feel so rigid. So it's like rigid things, like they fall hard, you know? But flowy things like feathers and stuff, they fall. But not so tragically, yeah? So let's bring this leg up, and it's like a real dramatic cross of the leg. So we're trying to get the leg to start crossing at the highest point possible. So I can get my left knee to the outside of my right knee. This foot is pressing back towards the wall behind. Maybe the foot's hooking behind the calf. Okay. Maybe the toes are just touching the ground here, or even a block. Remember, deep bend in the knees, deep sitting of the hips. It's like sitting in a chair. Give yourself a little break. It's counterintuitive, but it does make the pose easier. And then notice this. See how my elbows have shifted all over to the left? My knees have shifted over to the right. Okay, that just naturally happened, but I'm aware of it now, so I'm going to bring my knees back to center, bring my elbows to center. Everything's in alignment with the belly button line.
Then I'm gonna lift my arms a little or a lot. Depends what your shoulder's saying right now. So we can even out. Garudasana Eagle Pose. And breathing fully here. Elbows are squeezing together, knees are squeezing together. We're going to release in reverse. Legs release, arms release. So let's bring a little shake to that. So I'm going to shake the leg out, shake the other leg out, give the hands a shake. And then start to bring a whole shake to the body by bringing a bounce. So we're gonna just lymphatic shake here. And how we do that is by jumping to create a bounce and just encouraging a jiggle. Alternately, if you don't like jumping, you can just lift your heels up and then slam them into the ground with nice knees bent to create that like ripple effect necessary for a proper jiggle. And you're just letting things go. So you can start breathing in and out through the mouth instead of just through the nose, audible sighs. Always encouraged, but especially encouraged during this part of class. So we do this every day. Just bring a lot of movement and shaking to the body to help release tension, any frustration that was built up during that last pose. You do this right after balance pose. So any tension or frustration that got brought up during that pose, or earlier in class, or earlier in your day, or earlier in your week, in your life, like this is the time to shake it out. When Wolf Dog over here gets frustrated or smacked on the nose by a cat or whatever happens to her, she literally shakes it off immediately and processes the trauma. We generally are not shaking things off when someone flips us off in a supermarket line or the post office. We just hold it in and hold it together. This is your chance to undo, like literally process all the like little bullshit that shows up that you're not allowed to like scream about at the post office, in traffic. Yeah? So when you feel like stopping, just double time. Like literally jump twice as hard, twice as fast. Building up some heat, building up some energy, just letting all of that stuff, frustration, anger, whatever else shows up for you, bubble up. Just shake, shake, shake. Shake the arms out. The next part of this practice is called breath of joy. It's a 4-part breath. We're going to do 10 rounds of it together. Hey, Linda Bear. Okay. It looks like this. Keep my feet nice and wide, bend to my knees. I inhale a third of my air in, arms sweep forward, in through my nose. A third of the air in, arms open to the sides. A third of my air in, so now I'm at full lung capacity, arms sweep forward. There's no exhales in between and a big ha! Arms sweep back. So like chair pose, belly towards thighs, doesn't matter if it touches, arms throw back. You yell ha! Forceful exhalation through the mouth with vocalization. Yeah? So it goes in, 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 ha! Ready? In, ha! In, ha! In, ha! 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 3 more. If you haven't joined in yet, now is your chance. Make it count. Ha! Hand on your heart, hand on your belly. Let your eyes close, feet are nice and wide. Stable stance. Just take a moment here to see what was created. Higher heart rate, increased breathing, perhaps increased body temperature. But what else? Taking your body and giving it a righteous shape, like a snow globe. Observe where that glitter dust settles now. What is revealed? What is uncovered when you let yourself really go, when you let yourself shake without rhyme or reason, without holding back? What shows up when you yell and take up space, vocally and physically? What showed up, what resistance showed up to stop you from going all out? What fear keeps you from going in 100%? Whose judgment are you afraid of? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. And we'll gently blink our eyes open. You could take a sip of water, towel off if you built up some heat there. Just gonna get a little closer to you. I always like to sip some tea because from yelling so loud. My throat. Okay. Let's get a little closer to you. If you're already on the ground, you just stay there. We'll meet you there. If you're not on the ground yet, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hands on shins. Exhale, knees bend deep, 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 so deep. And we come down to seated. What are we looking at? Cool. Cool. Great. So, seated with the legs out in front. Just gonna scooch my hips forward. So I'm just kind of like walking forward with my legs and letting like all this like squishy like fabulousness behind you. So your sit bones are close to the ground. Danny on YouTube, aren't you tired? Yeah. No. Actually, I take it back. I'm not tired. My body is tired from that hike yesterday, but it feels so good to move. I love moving. All right, so I'm pressing my heels away so hard that the backs of my knees are coming closer to the ground. They don't touch. I could still slide like a pencil underneath there or something bigger than that. But so hard that my ankles might even come up off, or my heels might even come up off the ground. Oh, yeah. That's like engagement in the quads. All right. So seated up nice and tall. This is called Dandasana. So this seems like a really easy pose because it's an easy shape, the letter L. But it took me like 5 years to get into this because my lower back wouldn't let me. So just wanted to put that out there. See, I could do like all sorts of other crazy poses, right? So it's just our bodies are all different. So we're going to try and sit up nice and tall here. It's almost like a back bend. You can use your hands into the ground for resistance, for leverage here, opening the chest up, looking up, deep breath in. And exhale, I'm folding forward, but it looks like belly button towards the toes. Chest towards the toes. And finally, nose towards toes. So I'm keeping my head even lifted here. Yeah? Hands come to wherever works for you. They're not pressing down on the knees. The knees get closer to the ground by flexing the feet, pressing the heels away, and engaging the top quads, not from pressure from the hands. Yeah? Another deep breath here. On the exhale, you might let your head hang heavy. Remember, it's more of a nose towards toes type movement. It's called Paschimottanasana, head to feet pose, not nose to knees pose. Yeah? Shins to shins kind of thing. So grabbing onto the ankles. If you can grab onto the feet, that's cool too. Either way, it doesn't really matter. You just want your shoulders melted away. If letting your head hang heavy brings any pain or like electric type feeling to your lower back or your hamstrings, you're just going to want to keep that nose towards toes type movement instead, so that the neck can stay engaged and we're not putting unnecessary pressure on your lumbar spine or your hamstrings. Every exhale is an invitation to deepen into the pose, which really just means relaxing, telling your body it's okay, there's nothing to panic about. And every inhale just brings in a little space. So it might be like a little bit of a backing out of the pose to allow for the exhale to invite you back down and into the pose. Just notice any clenching in the jaw, any furrowing of the eyebrows, shoulders, melted away from the ears, wherever is your natural place to go for tension. And we just want to invite that to let go, let that go. Last deep breath here. And bring it back up to seated. Bend in the knees. The space behind you, just make sure there's no block or water bottle. And give the knees kind of a hug in, hands come behind the knees. And we're going to shift it back to Navasana, boat pose. So I'm just leaning back until my tailbone touches the ground, so I have 3 points of contact. Left and right sits bones, and my tailbone. So the knees lift. Feet are shut. Shins are parallel to the ground below me. I like pointing my toes. You can flex them too. We've been doing lots of flexing, so I'm just going to point the toes. Deep breath in here, shoulder blades are squeezed together. On the exhale, I just open up the ankle a bit more. Hands can stay behind the legs for an added challenge that can be out to the side. Deep breath in here. Exhale, extend the legs a little bit more. Breath in, hold it. Hold the pose, not the breath. Exhale, extend. Open up that ankle a little bit more. Deep breath in, hold the position. Exhale, extend a little more. And let it go. Full body stretch. Reaching tall. Pointing the toes. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so now we're going to take the right knee in towards the right armpit, avoiding the belly altogether. Hands come in front of that knee, and then pull the knee in towards the shoulder. The left heel is flexed and pressing that leg away. And I'm just using bicep strength here. I'm not using shoulder strength. My shoulders are melted away. Totally relaxed. Wind relieving pose. So this is one of the poses that's going to be really good for digestion. This is like if you ate too much food or you're feeling bloated. This is like the holiday feast, like after feast pose for sure. It works. It really does help. So lots of poses in yoga, massage your internal organs, of course, how could they not? You know, as we fold our bodies into places and positions, you can almost think of it like a garden hose. Sometimes when you're putting kinks into the hose, the water pressure builds up, but then what happens when you unkink the hose? The water gets to flush through really fast and clear out that space. So we got another full breath here and out. And release that leg down the length of the mat. Left knee comes in towards the left shoulder, completely avoiding the belly. So I like going out to the side, grabbing the knee, and then pulling it back upright. So you might feel a nice stretch here in the glute or the hip. Now every space body is different. Just letting the shoulders be soft, using the bicep strength to actively pull the knee in, pressing, flexing through the right foot. That bottom leg is engaged. Just breathing fully here. So we practice breathing fully no matter what shape our body is in. And it forces the lungs and the diaphragm to have to move and press into different parts of us internally, and so we can expand our lung capacity. Open up new areas of the body. We're going to release the left leg, and both knees come in and reach around for opposite elbows. Head relaxes to the ground, Apanasana. So I'm trying to press my hips down towards the ground and chin tucks towards the chest. I'm trying to get my neck on the ground too. So it's like I'm trying to get every vertebra of my spine to make contact with the earth below. Still breathing. So we're multitasking. We're still breathing here, elongating the spine. Last deep breath, last deep squeeze here. Release that tension. Release both knees over to the right. Left arm opens up like the letter T. You can look over the left fingertips. For our Supta Matsyendrasana, supine spinal twist, right shoulders pressing down towards the ground. We're just letting the whole lower body be relaxed. Right hand's on top of the left knee, but there's no pulling. Just resting. Let gravity do the work here. The only effort is this left shoulder pressing to the ground. So that's why for digestion we want to do twists, because they have that effect, that like internal massage for our organs. And of course with digestion, it all has to be paired with water. So no, you shouldn't drink cold water while you're eating, or even water at all, because it's believed that you're dampening your Agni, your digestive fire, by drinking water during food. We're not eating right now. We're moving a lot, so we want to be able to flush that out too. Alright, so head comes up through center, knees come up through center. Knees gently release over to the left. Left hand lands on top of right knee. Right arm opens up like the letter T, and you can look over your right hand. Give the neck an equal stretch. Head comes back up through center, knees come up through center. And just notice, is there any last movement or wiggle or stretch that your body's asking for? It doesn't have to have a specific yoga name or anything like that. We're just moving into any last part that maybe called out for your attention in the beginning of class, and then we didn't get to it. Whatever's going to make you feel most well-rounded. Might be an inversion. It doesn't have to have a name at all. It can just be a random stretch or an intuitive movement as we prepare for Savasana, final relaxation pose. Now we just got to get a last wiggle or fidget out of your system so that you know you can lay down and rest fully after. So as we do head into our Shavasana final relaxation pose, the legs come down the length of the mat, feet at least a foot apart. Legs so relaxed that they naturally splay open to the sides. And this whole meditation is reclining, so if you know that laying flat on your back, with no pillow under your head or anything like that, is going to bring pain to your lower back, you're going to keep the knees bent by bringing a pillow or a towel underneath the knees to introduce a gentle bend without having to put any muscle into it. If you don't have a pillow, you don't feel like getting up to get one, you can bend your knees deep, bring your feet to the outside edges of the mat, and drop your knees in for broken bridge. So I'm using zero muscle strength here. I'm just letting gravity hold my knees up. The next step is just to lift the hips a bit so that I can bring my lower back, lumbar spine to touch the ground. And that's going to bring the length necessary to keep from pinching or whatever pain you might be experiencing. Traditionally, the legs are just out. Arms are down by the sides, at least 6 inches from the body. I like tucking my shoulders under. It just gives my chest the support that I feel like it needs for deep breaths. And palms are face open to the sky, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the benefits of your effort here today. Head is centered, gaze is straight up towards the sky, and the invitation here is to close the eyes. If that's uncomfortable for you, it's just a soft gaze towards the sky. I'm going to come to seated so that I can more comfortably lead you through this body scan. And so I can play some singing bowls for you. You please stay reclining, stay comfortable. I'm going to start this practice how we started our seated meditation, and that is with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, and an audible exhale out through the mouth. Let your breathing return to normal, in and out through the nose if that's available. Inviting your exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. Invite space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. The tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth, a symbol of chitta vritti, monkey mind. And we're just inviting that monkey to sit it out this round for a few moments.
as all the muscles of the lips, cheeks, and jaw relax. Nose and nostril relax, allowing air to gently pass through like waves lapping up to shore. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets, eyelids just barely touching. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as the forehead relaxes. Muscles surrounding the ears, the ears themselves with all their folds and wrinkles, and the ear canals. Integrate what's been heard. Muscles surrounding the back of the head, crown of the head, and the temples all relax. Neck and throat release. Shoulders, shoulder blades, and space in between melt away. Upper arms and elbows relax. Forearms and wrists sink down towards the ground below. Palms, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, fingernail beds, whole hands alive with vibration, whole hands alive with creative potential. Rest and integrate all that you practice. Upper back, middle and lower back. Rest heavy, supported by the earth below. Chest naturally rising and falling, perhaps imperceptibly. Belly naturally rising and falling with the breath. Pelvis, glutes, and hips rest heavy. Thighs and knees melt away. Lower legs and ankles relax. Heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and all of the toes relax. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. everything that did and did not happen in class today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more and nothing less. Invite your inhalations to become longer and deeper than your exhalations. And that feeling of heaviness replaced with a feeling of lightness and expansion. The awareness rising to the surface front side of the body as fingers begin to wiggle as well as toes. Bringing movement back in. Head can gently rock side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Let the knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural. Landing in a fetal position, you can use your bottom arm as a pillow. Fully released, fully relaxed and supported by the ground below you. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today, or here's an opportunity to set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of twisting postures, as well as back of the leg opening postures for the calves and the hamstrings. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to one another, to everyone that held this space. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me this morning, to everyone who practiced alongside me, or just checked in for the meditations, or is just lurking to see what this class is all about. I appreciate you and the energy that you brought towards this class, and I hope you found something that serves you for whatever amount of time you stuck around for. Yeah. Bodhi, thank you. Yes, thank you for dropping that in the chat on Twitch. I do greatly appreciate any tips. $5 does get you a recording of the class with timestamps. So if you did want to just do the Savasana again, or if you did want to just do the grounding meditation or the lymphatic shake, you could just press a button and just do that part of class. And then that link is private, so I'll direct message it to you. Yeah, super appreciated. Helped me get a light. Helped me pay my internet bill last month. And today's February. It's the first day of a new month. My commitment in the beginning of the year was just to stream every day in January, and here we are. Today's class 36. So we did it. Thanks for coming along for the ride. And I'm just going to keep it going because I think that I have more to gain from keeping a daily practice and sharing that practice with you guys than I do from sleeping in, which is definitely the alternative. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you. I'm always around for questions. Of course, you can always drop them in the chat, or you could just privately message me.
that's really cool too. I've been answering your questions all month, and it helps me know where you're at, what you guys are working on, so I can integrate them into class and just try to keep the class at a level that's challenging for everyone without being discouraging, and then empower the people who are like trying to work on like handstands or like more advanced poses by giving them some work to do on the side or some alternatives. So it's in either direction. You can always reach out to me, and I can help customize the class a little bit for you. And also to make it accessible. So I know a couple of you are practicing in chairs, and I think that's really effing dope. So I hope that the advice I've been giving you on the side of how to make this class chair accessible is working. I'm open. I'm super open to feedback saying that you need more stuff to do or more verbal cues during class. If that's something that you are interested in. So, looks like my friend Mom is online on Twitch. Siobhan, hello my friend, I love you. Happy January. Looks like my friend Mom is on and trying to get him to get partner. So why don't we go over and raid Mom, and if you're on YouTube and Facebook, I love you so much. If you're on Twitch, let's just head over to Mom's class /raid and just drop a bunch of tigers in his chat and say hello. Furious Fitness. We'll just say hi to him for a couple minutes. He's really cool, great energy. He's doing some really intense diaphragmatic breathing and belly massage with his partner, who is a doctor, like a medical doctor. But he usually does like crazy intense workouts. But he's really good energy. I think he's solid beginning of the month, Monday energy. And he stops in for our meditations every once in a while, so let's show him some love back. And yeah, I'll be here same time, same place tomorrow. I appreciate you all and all the shout outs and whatnot, and all the sharing that you do of this with those in your life. So much love from me to you. Have a great Monday. Crush it, or take a nap, whatever success looks like for you today. Yeah.